I was giving a presentation to a group of CEOs recently, and one of the guys in the audience said, well, wait a minute, I don't get it. Isn't mediation about winning? And I said, no, actually it's not. What do you think it's about?
Compromise.
Compromise? Well, sort of, yeah. And? Negotiation is part of it. It's about resolution. It's about peace. Anybody here really like conflict? Come on, raise your hands. I'm not seeing any. Why is that? Why do we hate conflict so much? Stress. And how does stress show itself? Wrinkles? There's been a radical change in the past 2 decades in the Supreme Court's receptivity to arbitration. So don't rely on those old cases. You know, let's just talk about the fact that we support arbitration generally now. So if you get sued for sexual harassment, discrimination of any kind, those kinds of claims are generally excluded from your general liability policy. And if you want to have them covered, you have to have a separate EPLI insurance policy. Arbitration agreements are subject to challenge based on the doctrine of unconscionability. Basically, what the courts have said is these are matters, these are creatures of contract. And even though generally the FAA, the Federal Arbitration Act, applies, if you're going to figure out whether it's unconscionable, let's look to the contract law of the state. So I've been doing this for 10 years now, and what I have come to know is that there actually are secrets that I know, and people always say to me, how can you do this all day long? How can you work with people and resolve conflict all day long? And it's easy for me. In mediation, all you end up with is a usually, just a settlement agreement. It can be a 1-page or it might be a couple pages, but it's just a settlement agreement. In arbitration, the arbitrator serves as a private judge and is going to make the decision, which means one side's not going to like it. I do both, but I got to tell you, I much prefer mediation because at the end of a mediation, people are generally, happy. They're feeling good that they got the peace and it's over. In an arbitration, whoever I ruled against, whoever I ruled in favor of thinks I'm fantastic, right? And whoever I ruled against, say, what, was she sleeping through the whole thing? She completely missed the point. People often don't mean what they say. Right? When you're upset and you're stressed and you're angry, you might make a statement that is absolutely not what you meant to say. But do you take it back? No. You just live with the consequences of what you said, and then, your pride gets in the way and it's just too hard to backtrack on what you say. Really, the new strategy, the most effective strategy, is to have a DRP. Now, different employers call them by different names, right? One employer calls it an EDR, Employment Dispute Resolution Program. Some call them DRPs, Dispute Resolution Program. Whatever you call it though, having a DRP, that's what it is. It's an internal DRP. Every company needs one. And it ought to incorporate mediation into it. We all have fundamental needs that need to be met, and our basic, most significant need when it comes to a serious conflict is the need to be heard. So, how do I know this? I can't tell you how many times when I'm working with people, whether it's an organization in conflict or whether it's in a formal mediation setting, somebody says, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you were listening to me. I just worked with a group. I must have had 8 to 10 interviews last week, and each and every person said, things have been horrible here, just horrible. We've had a horrible conflict, but it's been much better the past 2 to 3 weeks because we knew you were coming.